All right, hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 on decolonizing our food system. My name is Brandi DeCarli. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Farm from a Box and proud 2019 SheEO venture. If you were able to join us for our previous discussion, you heard a lot about the importance of rebuilding institutional and community-driven food systems and how deeply interwoven racism and food justice is with our current system. Well, right now you are in for a treat. We are joined by two absolute forces of nature that are changing that and really reclaiming their traditional way of growing food back into their cultural practices. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Aaju Peter, Inuit activist, lawyer, and sealskin designer. If you have not yet seen the documentary Angry Inuk, please watch it. You'll be able to see her amazing work. And also Patricia Hammond, a good friend and founder of Rebel Earth Farms in the Lakota community of Pine Ridge. Let's start, Aaju, with you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your community and the impact that the seal ban has had on your community's food security and job security and just overall well-being and health?
Yes, I would like to start off by saying congratulations and happy International Women's Day to everybody. Glad to be here. I live in Nunavut. Nunavut is a territory in Canada. We have 27 communities scattered, and the population is about 33,000 people. When I look out today, or when I went to walk today to work, everything was white. Ice is covered in snow and ice. All the mountains are covered in ice. So for those of you who think we can grow anything up here, we can't. So we depend on what nature gives us. And what our nature gives us is seal meat and seal year round. We also go fishing for char. There's some caribou, but the seal is our main source of income and food. The seal skin provides us with warm clothing. But what the seal skin does is the hunters can sell the seal skin, could sell the seal skin before the seal ban. And the women who are staying home, the surplus seal skin, they can sell for some income. Mind you, in the Arctic Canada, we have the highest unemployment, we have the highest cost of living, and we have the highest of everything that you can think of. Because it's so cold, we actually need to heat our homes, and it's quite expensive. So what the European seal ban did in 2009, it just crashed the whole market. After the 1983 ban on seal skins, we had gradually gained again the price of seal skin to be able to make an income so that the hunters can still go out hunting, catch the seal, share the meat with the community, and then make money so that he can go hunting to feed the community again. But with the seal ban, it has made it virtually impossible. There was an exemption to Inuit sealing, sustainably hunted sealing for your own economy, but yet since 2009, we haven't been able to sell anything. That European seal ban crashed the whole market because nobody wants to buy seal skin anymore.
Good times. We have to make sure that we unmute each other if we're going to have a discussion. So diving back in, Patricia, I would love to hear from you about your incredible work at Rebel Earth, who I have the deep honor of being able to work with you and support you on this. It feels like there's some similarities between what the Lakota have experienced and what Aaju is speaking with. Can you give us a little bit of background on Pine Ridge and explain what your work at Rebel Earth is doing?
Yeah, so another thing, I'm actually known as the batshit crazy woman south of Martin, the farmer, you know? So and we're traditionally, we were not, farmers or gardeners in what you think of the current standards of what society says what is a farmer or a gardener. My mom used to say we would spit seeds out and we would know that they would come back and grow the next time we moved through. Our people generally moved all the way down to Kansas, and we followed the buffalo all the way through. The way that they tried to get rid of us was to kill, I think, like 98% of the population of the buffalo, and squeezed us into a 2 million acre reservation. Now, our people weren't accustomed to planting their own food. We did a lot of trading, and we also did a lot of raiding. So we had an entire breakdown of the system, not of just only our food system, but what our men and our women did traditionally to gather food. A lot of our men have lost their way and almost have no value. I hate to say or put it that way, but it's better to not have the man in the home so people can receive governmental assistance. We now get a lot of our food off the back of a truck, and that was one of our treaty rights. We won a couple of wars or battles with the United States government, and we fought for all of the things that I believe are really keeping us down at this point. We need to create new traditions and new ways of moving forward. So Rebel Earth is trying to create a space, it's approximately 60 acres, to bring in different types of growing practices, as well as provide a space for people to just be okay. So we're going to stimulate all of the different senses. Fractal patterns are found to be soothing as opposed to right angles, right? And we're going to get goats. We don't eat goat, but they're really cute, and they can also provide therapy. And then I think I'm going to hire somebody else to take them and kill them and sell them to the people that do eat goats. I have no problem doing that. I have a problem killing them, but beyond that, we're looking at different ways that people can sustain themselves on the reservation through kind of like a cottage industry. Whereas before we don't really have much right now for business or money-making ventures on the reservation. So if I can support people through my farm and what I'm doing and helping other people build their farms and supporting jewelry industry, artwork, cabinet making, whatever we can pull in there. And then also providing a space for people to come to just have good times. We have exceedingly high rates of drug abuse and alcoholism, all those wonderful things that come with going through trauma. And if I can create that space where we have healthy food, we have food forests and different types of permaculture and Korean natural farming. I don't care how we grow this food, as long as it's grown with grit and it's grown spiritually intact. I am not a person that's going to send out any food anywhere to anyone. I don't care where you're from, what color you are, what your background is. I'm not selling dead food to people because that's wrong.
Yes, you bring up such a good point too, because I feel like the industrialized way of approaching agriculture is so different. It's so different than the indigenous and even African perspective. The two approaches are not, we've gotten away from really looking at it in terms of being in balance with nature, Aaju, like what you have been saying, or even acting with the planetary health and our health. Can you explain a little bit of the difference between the indigenous perspective and approach to agriculture versus the non-indigenous industrialized?
I would have to say that this is going to be a real personal perspective for me, growing up the way that I did and with the resources that I had, to say that somewhere along the line, when I started growing plants in a community garden, I just delved into them. I'm a person, I have bipolar disorder. So it's really difficult for me to get out into different places, and I get anxiety and things like that. But when I started working with plants and starting to find out how they communicate, how they work, how they have friends, they have family, they help each other. They have ones that they just don't like. You ever met that person that you're like, I just don't like that person? Okay, plants are the same way. And we seem to have, gathered that connection with animals. Now, a lot of people will humanize animals. They do have feelings, they have family, all of that stuff. But somewhere along the line, we forgot plants. Plants are getting bigger because of the excess amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, as well as getting less nutritious. So we're creating a problem with the current standards of agriculture right now, which is fill them with all of the asides, make them as big as you can. The pesticides, the insecticides, those are having impacts on our bodies and our systems, of our soil health and everything else. So if we can get back to a way, for us personally, it's actually developing a new tradition is what I'm trying to do. So we're in limited space and making that reconnection with those plants and those medicines again, so we can grow them intact, nutritious and balanced, and give that to our people.
Mm-hmm. It's so important moving forward and thinking of the balance between how we interact with nature, how we interact with plants. And when we are not at the table, when decisions are being made that impact our community and impact our lives, what do we do? How do we step into really reclaiming that? Aaju, I'd love to hear from you in terms of how do we step forward into this, recognizing what's been going on?
Well, I think we need to recognize that what we all believed in with the animal rights groups about not killing seal pups, they call it baby seals on purpose because the notion of killing a baby was no, but they really are seal pups, and they're part of the food chain. How we need to change that is when we have people running for office, we need to lobby our legislators. We also need to have a better advertisement, better publicity, tell the human story. I agree with Patricia. Our food is nutritious. It's the blue economy. We don't have to fly it in 2,000 kilometers away. This much of seal meat in my hand has the same amount of iron as 56 pieces of sausage. Now, our children are suffering from lack of iron. We are suffering from lack of nutrition because the food that we get, the seal fat and the seal meat, is what is adapted to this environment, minus 50, minus 60 when I walk to work. I need this nutrition, but it's caught right here, and we need to support the communities who need this income to make a living. Every day, planes come in loaded with cows and pigs and chicken that are already so deprived of nutrition, and the vegetables that are flown in are already past due, and we have to pay a very high price. I think this whole system is wrong, and the general population needs to be educated. It's up to the individuals who voted for, and were so in love with the seal. We love seal, but we are not in love with the seal. That's the difference. People need to understand that for us to have a healthy society, for us to be healthy, we need to continue our practices to keep teaching our younger generation about safe hunting on the ice, about how to hunt the animal with respect as we did traditionally. And you know what? 10 million half seals is not a healthy, sustainable number. There's way too many of them. they're dying of diseases, they're dying of overpopulation. And what Inuit do are keeping a healthy, sustainable population until that was destroyed. So we need, I agree with Patricia, we need to go back and understand what is a healthy relationship with your environment and with the environment that you live in. And we are the last hunting culture, hunting society in North America. So please, we need to keep that alive. We need to keep this culture and tradition and way of living alive. That's, otherwise we're gonna lose it.
And Patricia, I know that you share this. You're part of the Buffalo Nation, so you are absolutely, you've been romanticized in the media as being something different, and yet here we are reclaiming and rebuilding. Like in these final moments that we have, what is it that you really want to be able to leave people's perspective with how it is that you're really changing and starting this new journey forward?
Boy, like you were saying about the romanticizing us, we're not living in teepees. We do have technology and cars, and we're sadly not chasing the buffalo, but we still do have that intact, where we have the buffalo included in school excursions out into the pastures, where they harvest right on site, they butcher right on site, and all the kids are there to participate in that. I love that we're still doing that. But I think where I differ a little bit is saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with the government. I'm done with our local government. I'm done with the big United States government. And I'm tired of it. And we need to get up off of our butts and get ourselves to work for ourselves, not for everybody else, for the betterment of ourselves. We don't need people coming in here and trying to teach us how to reclaim ourselves. That's already in us. And we need to get on it. And I'd like the government to just step out. I don't care about your treaty rights anymore. I don't give a damn about them. Take your nasty ass commodities that are killing us, giving us diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, and go ahead and eat that yourself. You know, our healthcare, which is crap and is not doing well either. I just found out my friend today has bone disease. She notified them of this pain that she was having a year ago, and now they're thinking amputation. So, let's see. We also fought for our education system. You know, 70% of our kids drop out before they graduate high school. None of what we fought for is given to us in a proper way. So I don't want it anymore. Take it. We need to get on our own 2 feet, and we can do that through food. We can improve mood and physical health, spiritual health, emotional health. We can all do that through working not only with our traditional foods, but foods that we have incorporated into our diets, and moving forward and doing better, and, you know, getting rid of the damn government. That's my thing.
We could talk about this for let it out. We could talk about this for quite some time, especially with this topic. And as we're coming up to the end of time, which is painful, please, everyone, connect in with the links that we're providing, follow their work, support their work, and make sure that in every aspect of our decision-making, we're bringing absolutely everybody to the table, and that we are not imposing an incorrect view on anyone else or anybody's culture. That is so key, and we've made this problem. It's up to us to fix it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Oh, hell yes.
So the question was, what can we do? I think we need to demand that when I go even to my local restaurant, that along with buying poutine and chicken and cow and pig, I should, in my own community, be able to buy seal meat. my own treat in my own restaurant, or even in Canada, seal meat should be made available to everybody who wants it, because we know how nutritious it is. And if you want to support the sealing industry, you need to start buying sealskin products.